ironic and quite funny because I'm an extremely sedentary person. Like, really? Moving? That sounds like work. But I started thinking about it, and I wanted to challenge you to think about moving on a deeper level. I find that God does everything in us from the inside out. We tend to focus on the outward things, and we want to fix outward things. When we think about moving, we think kind of like yesterday we had some Watchtower representatives come to our door, and we could easily say to ourselves, I'm gonna change the world by moving. I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna talk to 100 people about Jesus today before I go to bed tonight. Okay, now God, point me in the right direction. But when I read that moving, it took me inside. So I found 3 different places of moving in the Bible. First one is Romans 1, 16 and 17. Moving from faith to faith. And I wrote everything out here because my Bible print's like that small. For I am not ashamed of the gospel, because it is God's power for salvation to everyone who believes, first to the Jew and also to the Greek. For in it God's righteousness is revealed from faith to faith. Now, faith is conviction of the truth. And I started thinking about that. Moving from faith to faith, does that thought scare you that your faith might change? Is our faith in our faith, or is it in God? God doesn't change, but my understanding of Him does. And so I'm going to just eviscerate myself and give you an example from my life. When I had a big change all at once, a little over 10 years ago. And a very loving person came to me, and they had really kind intent, but they said, Karen, be careful, are you getting out on a limb? And I said, I don't know how to express this to you. I'm not out on a limb. It's that my tree has grown. My whole tree has grown. And so I moved with it because the whole thing is getting bigger. My picture of God, who I see Him as, it's getting bigger. And so this is one of the changes that has taken place. I had this view of eternity. And God is the center of everything. And so the more I thought about that, the more I thought, living with Him forever, we're just all going to just it's all Him, and these people who say, oh, I'm going to see my grandma, I kind of inwardly kind of scoffed, like, you're going to even care that your grandma's there, because it's all God. It's all Him. It's all God. But He worked on me. The inward scoffing, by the way, should have probably been a little red flag to me that I wasn't quite on the right track, but anyway, that's a side note. But He started talking to me about how we have relationship with each other, and that's ordained by Him. That's created by Him. And when we spend eternity in His presence, the boundaries that keep us, even the most intimate relationships we have, are not as full and rich as they will be when all those boundaries come down and we're in His presence, perfected in the presence. It will be so amazing. And so I kind of had to go back and go, okay, I had this one thought about what that meant. Now, did it change the central idea that God is the center of everything? No, that stayed the same. But I had added something on to the outside of it, and that had to go because that was just me, and He wanted to replace it with something that was true. So that, to me, is what moving from faith to faith is. And see, no exercise involved. Moving from glory to glory. 2 Corinthians 3:18. We all, with unveiled faces, are reflecting the glory of the Lord and are being transformed into the same image from glory to glory. And then I love this. I added this on to the end because it had the same thought. 1 John 3:2. Dear friends, we are God's children now, but what we will be has not yet been revealed. We know that when He appears, we will be like Him because we will see Him as He is. Have you ever seen those pictures of the owner and the dog, and they look the same? And you kind of look at it and go, that's just freaky. That's freaky. But it really is true. We become like what we look at. And as we look on Him with unveiled faces, it says, we get changed. So we reflect Him to the world, but we're changed as well. This, to me, is why I read the Bible. a long time, and if you weren't raised in church, then give me just like 2 minutes and I'll get interesting again in a minute. But if you were raised in church like I was, for a long time, I read the Bible because I could check it off of a check sheet. You know, like, did I think I was impressing God? Look, I did them all, you know. Or because I wanted people to think I was smart. You know, here's my flesh showing again. I really like it if people think I'm smart. Or some people are more altruistic than I am, and they do it so that they can win people to the Lord with their great knowledge. However, that's a spirit thing, that's not a head thing, so good luck with trying to convince people. So why? Why would I want to read it? I want to be changed. And this last year, I've really been provoked. I'm reading the Gospels over and over and over again, really concentrating not just on what Jesus says, that's part of it. Like, what does he do and how does he do that? How did he do that? Look again. I want to like dissect it like you would a frog, you know. John 4 just perplexes me. It's Jesus talking to the woman at the well, and he like calls out her sin. He gets it to come out of her own mouth. And yet she's not offended by it. And they continue talking, you know, it's like, how do you do that? How did you do that? You know? But that's it. If we keep looking, what we become like what we look at, from glory to glory. And I've got this thing I've been talking about. I have a lot of like head knowledge, the puff up kind. But like, how do you get that to come out of your belly? That's one of the reasons why I like kind of want to hang around Joe, because he's like a belly guy. It just kind of gushes out of his belly. And it's like, I've got stuff that I know, like, you know, someone said, what's your opinion about that? Sure, I could tell you my opinion about God. I can tell you my opinion. It's like, no, I want it to be who I am. I want him to come out of my guts, not just, I have an essay about that, you know. So how do I move it from my head to my belly? Keep looking at it. View it from glory to glory and be changed. Again, no exercise. And then moving from strength to strength. Ooh, that one's scary. It sounds like muscles. This one was Psalm 84, 5 through 7. Happy are the people whose strength is in you, whose hearts are set on pilgrimage. Ooh, we are moving. As they pass through the valley of Baca, which means the valley of tears, they make it a source of spring water. Even the autumn rain will cover it with blessings. They go from strength to strength. Each appears before God in Zion. And the cool thing is, the strength is for the day, is for today. It's not like you get all the strength that you need for the next year of your life. I could so relate to what Mike said. You know, you kind of want to know the long-term plan. You want to, you know, I want the 5-year plan here, you know, and God, you did get the memo, right? You know, it's like, no, you get the strength you need for today. I have a friend who went through a really, really traumatic event several years ago, and her youngest child died in the process of this. It was just horrid. And lots of people come up to you during that time and they say, oh, I don't know how you can go through that. I never could do that. And she said, and you know what? 2 weeks ago, I couldn't either. Because I didn't have to. And I didn't have, but today, I need to. And so today, I get what I need. I get the strength for today. I get my grace for today. And I feel that way about what I'm going through in my life. It's like, you know what? She'll look at me and she'll say the same thing. I could never go through what you're going through. You don't have to. You have to go through what you're going through. And when I was thinking about that this morning even, I thought, you know, I think that's what it means in we call it the Lord's Prayer, where it says, give us this day our daily bread. What is bread? It is the nourishment, the strength for the journey, the ability to keep going on, you know, the manna for today. And so anyway, that's what I was thinking is, it's not so much about, you know, when I always just like, give me my food, thanks, you know. No, but give me the strength, the nourishment I need to keep going on. And that kind of takes us back up to faith, because you walk it out one day at a time. And then as the inside of me changes, as I really start to change, then I think that moving and letting him steer us almost happens naturally, organically, you know. I get changed, and then really out of my belly, I really care about someone else's hurt. Instead of putting on that I care, I should care, I'm a Christian, it really comes out of me because I've been spending time with the one who really does care, and he's rubbing off on me. And I went, oh no, when Mike read his closing verse, because he said, Psalm 37, I went, hey, he picked mine. But he went to the beginning of the chapter, and mine's at the end of the chapter. So hey, Psalm 37 rocks. Verses 23 and 24, a man's steps are established by the Lord, and he takes pleasure in his way. Though he falls, he will not be overwhelmed because the Lord holds his hand. And I think so often what keeps us from doing anything is a fear that we're going to just boff it big time and land on our nose and smash our face, and Satan's going to laugh at us. And, you know, so that's why I'm not going to actually do anything here. And we don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about falling. Even if you mess up big time, he's the Redeemer, and he will turn it all around to good. And you get a glorious opportunity to apologize. And you know what? That can be a beautiful thing too. That can sometimes be more beautiful than being perfect in the first place. So I want to go ahead and close in prayer, and then in a minute we'll dismiss.